Welcome to everyone to a new video and another versus episode where we give you the best recoil and TTK builds between a Vanguard, Cold War or Modern Warfare weapon to see where each shines and give you a variety in long range possibilities as well as awareness to which weapons you might want to think twice about challenging out in the Warzone. Today's thumbnail should have been clear, so let's hop on to TTK comparisons right here. So in regards to TTK, the MG82 up to 29 meters will beat the UGM8 at chest and stomach shots, falling short by 22 milliseconds, only within a 30 to 48 meter range, where the UGM8 has its final drop off and loses almost a second in TTK beyond that 48 meter mark. Now, the UGM8 does, however, take that 22 millisecond lead for all extremity shots up to that 48 meter mark, where it again drops off until infinity pretty much. And then the MG82 takes the TTK lead beyond 44 meters in all body parts except headshots, where the UGM8 leads with an 80 millisecond TTK even beyond that 48 meter drop off. Now let's go ahead and talk about the builds for both of these LMGs. So for the MG82 build, we're going to be running pretty much the staple Cold War assault rifle or LMG build, the agency suppressor, the task force barrel, field agent grip, axial arms 3x. Now, I did run a couple of tests with the foregrip and the SFOD speed grip. I didn't really find any consistent difference in the recoil pattern. It's pretty much a straight line, but it does have some weird kicks from time to time that it's just kind of weird when you're trying to get that long range effectiveness. But the field agent grip will give you a very consistent vertical control, so I'll keep that one in mind. The magazine you could run with the standard 100, and then you can either bump that to 125 or run the fast mag for about a little bit over 1 second faster reload speed, and then pretty much that's your build. If you want to drop that and maybe get some quicker aim down sight, you could do that, or get a quicker sprint to fire time. It's really up to you, but it's not really rocket science with these weapons, and there isn't really a way that I could find at least to really optimize the recoil pattern to really reduce that weirdness in it. You could, as an alternative, run the high stakes blueprint for this weapon and remove the optic, and this will give you a really clean iron sight. And you can run this in Rebirth as sort of a mid to long range option, and maybe run a speed tape or maybe run something for sprint to fire time. But the iron sights on this specific blueprint, if you remove the sight and you keep this specific barrel, although you are losing that bullet velocity and it comes down to about 990 meters per second, it's still a really good option for Rebirth and really fun to use with very clean iron sights. Now for the UGM8, we're going to be running the MX silencer, the Bernard XL 214 736mm barrel, M1941 hand stop, 6.5mm accurate 125 round drum, lengthened stipple grip, surveil, fully loaded or on hand, roam wall tac YR, and whatever optic you prefer. Now you could run the Mercury silencer, it'll just extend your pattern a little bit more vertically. You could run the M1930 stripe angled. I just like the consistency with the M1941. I think this is really the best option for the full auto UGM8. And regarding the stock, you could run the Romuald or the Bernard. It all comes down to the initial kick the weapon has. It is a little bit different. I do think the Romuald gave a more consistent initial kick for it, so I'm sticking with this one. You can go with this one as well. Both are fantastic options, so you don't have to worry about the sustained fire here because this weapon's recoil already has a very good sustained fire control anyway, so you're pretty much good with the initial fire and recoil as the benefit and the aim down sight speed. But this one right here is the UGM8 build, and as we talk about the stats here, the MG82 has a better muzzle velocity with 1485 meters per second and a better reload time, considering if you're running the fast mag at 5.67 seconds. The UGM8 having a better fire rate with 938 rounds per minute and a better base ammo count of 125 with the build we just talked about. Now something else I wanted to talk about was the recoil pattern, because these two weapons have some sort of oddity within their recoil pattern that is important to consider. The MG82 has these weird kicks that I talked about earlier. Even though it is a straight line, it does have these weird sort of random bullets here and there that kind of kick a little bit off to the right or to the left, and this can throw you off kind of heavily at long range engagement, so it's something to keep in mind. And in regards to the UGM8, it does have this recoil randomness within its pattern. Although it looks like an up and to the right, pretty much straightforward pattern, within it you can see that there are a lot of bullets that are pretty much left, right, left, right, left, right. And this is something to keep in mind because it is essentially a form of bloom once you're trying to hit a longer range target, because one of your bullets is going to the left side of the target and another one is going to the right. So compensating for that is practically impossible, and so each one of these weapons within its recoil pattern has some weird gimmick like it, so it's something to keep in mind. So who's the winner in your opinion? Let me know in the comments below, as well as what your favorite class setup for the UGM8 or the MG82 is. Make sure to let me know if there's another weapon you'd like to see a versus episode for, and in my opinion, I would say that this episode is given to the UGM8 because it just has a consistent recoil pattern that you can eventually learn and control. Despite the randomness within it, I do think that when you're running the MG82 at range, that weird kick bullet that it gives you to the right or to the left, it just feels really odd and really impossible to control at times. So I would really think that for long range effectiveness, the UGM8 is definitely taking that crown. I do think the MG82 for close range is really fun in Rebirth or Fortune's Keep. But we've got more versus episodes on the way, so make sure you subscribe and click the bell so you don't miss a single one. Are you wondering what the best forgotten assault rifle between the NZ41 recently nerfed and the EM2? Then go ahead and click on the video at the end to watch that. With nothing else left to say, I hope you have a fantastic rest of your day, and through it all, I hope you always remember, Sauce Time Gaming.